Good morning, church. I have a couple of tests for you. Can you finish this proverb? A stitch in time saves 9. Or the early bird catches the worm. Now, in the Hebrew scriptures, 3 of their last books were written about 100 to 200 years before the coming of Christ. Books are Wisdom, Proverbs, and Kohelet. They may have been written by one of the teachers of children. For example, the word Kohelet means teacher. Or the books may have been a compilation of folk wisdom. But they showed the people how their life would be better if they followed the rules. The book of wisdom shows them that the pursuit of wisdom is the better way to live. Let me read the first reading today from the book of wisdom, chapter 6, verses 12 to 16. Resplendent and unfading is wisdom, and she is readily perceived by those who love her, and found by those who seek her. She hastens to make herself known in anticipation of their desire. Whoever watches for her at dawn shall not be disappointed, for he shall find her sitting at his gate. For taking thought of wisdom is the perfection of prudence. And whoever for her sake keeps vigil shall quickly be free from care. Because she makes her own rounds, seeking those worthy of her, and graciously appears to them in the ways and meets them with all solicitude. Folk wisdom. I met a happy 5-year-old girl in the pharmacy last week. She was with her dad. All went well until she realized why she was there. Her dad wanted her to get a flu shot. Then the crying began. The pharmacist told her it would hurt more if she kept moving her arm, but to no avail. Eventually, during all the struggle, they finally gave her the flu shot. While she was still struggling, her dad released her and said, "It's all done." At first, she didn't believe him and continued to struggle. But eventually she realized it was true. The pharmacist no longer had the needle, but was preparing the Band-Aid. Without a whimper, she let the pharmacist put the Band-Aid on her arm, and she went out of the pharmacy happy. Why so many minutes of fuss and anxiety over a flu shot that only took a brief second and that she didn't feel? Another example. I had a classmate that was extremely brilliant. When he did an assignment, the professor said that his paper was better than the professor himself could have written. The problem was that he seldom handed in his papers on time and ended up with a lower grade. On his final test before ordination, when he did not hand in his assignment, the superior sent him to see a psychologist. He stayed with the psychologist over the weekend until he wrote his assignment. But when he returned on Monday, he still didn't hand in the assignment. A short while later, he left the seminary and returned to his home country. He eventually got a job in his country's government and became quite famous. But why the problem with his written assignments? I do not think it was laziness that caused the problem. Perhaps it was some form of stress relief as it came time to be ordained. What do you think? Does that happen to you? Let me read the Gospel today. It's from Matthew chapter 25, verses 1 to 31. 1 to 13. Jesus told his disciples this parable. The kingdom of heaven will be like 10 virgins who took their lamps and went out to meet the bridegroom. 5 of them were foolish and 5 were wise. The foolish ones, when taking their lamps, brought no oil with them, but the wise brought flasks of oil in their lamps. Since the bridegroom was long delayed, they all became drowsy and fell asleep. At midnight there was a cry, "Behold, the bridegroom, come out to meet him." Then all those virgins got up and trimmed their lamps. The foolish ones said to the wise, "Give us some of your oil, for our lamps are going out." The wise ones replied, "No, for there may not be enough for us and for you. Go instead to the merchants and buy some for yourselves." And while they went off to buy it, the bridegroom came, and those who were ready went into the wedding feast with him. Then the door was locked. Afterwards the other virgins came and said, "Lord, Lord, open the door for us." But he said in reply, "Amen, I say to you, I do not know you. Therefore stay awake, for you know neither the day nor the hour." In the Gospel, Jesus talks about 5 virgins preparing for the wedding party, but they don't take the little time necessary to get sufficient oil for their lamps, and they don't get entrance to the wedding. On many occasions, I've known what I should do, but haven't done it. For example, I've often failed to write letters to friends, even when knowing that my tardiness made it more difficult to write the letter later. I don't think my procrastination was due to being uncaring or lazy. but I think it might have been stress-related. On one occasion, I got a letter from a friend offering condolence on the death of my mother. She said she was very sorry that it had taken her so long to write. I have to tell you that I smiled when I got the letter because I realized that she had the same procrastination habit as I have. Her letter came a year after my mother's death. How about you? Has the wisdom books of the Jewish Bible or the parables of Jesus taught you anything about your negative habits? God bless you.